I'm Grumps. I'm not so Grump. And we're the Game Grumps.
So I was just tailing Dan off camera. I was just tailing Dan. And it's true, apparently, that if you have to pee, you make better snap decisions.
I do have to pee. Which is ironic because my first decision was I'll wait until after the episode to pee, and it doesn't feel like a good decision right now.
Well, so that,
feels like I'm 0 for 1, honestly.
I mean, like in the sense of like, oh, if you're like playing a video game, or if you're like playing soccer, or like you're like doing air traffic control or something. If you have to pee, apparently like your brain is just a little bit better. Like there's some kind of mini adrenaline rush or something that happens because your body knows that it's like hung up and can't pee unless it like solves this problem.
Really?
So like as a defense mechanism, it's just like, all right, let's get this shit out of the way right now.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And then we can pee. So maybe that's the secret to like getting a million things done.
Yeah, sounds good. Just drink a ton of water and be uncomfortable all day.
Or be like that woman that died.
What happened?
The hold your Wii for a Wii contest.
Oh God, that's terrible. What a sad way to go.
You've heard that one, right?
I have. You told it to me on the show, I think. The only sadder way to go is falling coconuts.
I want to.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I can relate.
Dude, but I was reading more people die from coconuts falling on their heads than from shark attacks every year.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable.
What a sad way to go.
Seriously.
Especially if it makes that cartoonish like boink, boink. Yeah. And then your head's like boop. You get like the Looney Tunes like bump.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. And they're like, he's dead, doctor.
I want to share a story with you.
Please do.
Because at the time it made me... Okay, so... You know when people are like being know-it-alls, right?
Yes.
When they just kind of like interject with like, well, this, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, okay.
It's a very good
the conversation stopper.
It's a very good quality to have. Being a know-it-all.
Yeah, it's just a bummer when you're like talking about something and the energy's good and they're like, no, it's actually this.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, great, thanks.
All right, well...
That really wasn't important.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I sort of did that, but it was like... It was like good-hearted. So the other day I was at a restaurant, right? And we were talking about water and we were talking about drinking too much water, right? And then I was like, haha, you know, this is drink so much water, and the waiter was like, oh, you know, you can get internal drowning or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, yeah, there was this contest, and he was talking about the Hold Your Wii for a Wii contest, right? And he was like, yeah, we're like they're lining up for like an Xbox or something, and I was like, oh yeah, it was a Wii. It was called Hold Your Wii for a Wii. Isn't that funny? And like, I realized I was being that know-it-all guy, but I felt like it was like riding the line because
because it was leading towards a joke.
Yeah, it was like a good attitude to it,
Sure.
And I was like, haha, yeah, man. But like, he did not respond well to it at all, and was just kind of like, all right, well, hope you're enjoying your meal, and just like walked away, and it made me feel so shitty.
No, that's his problem, dude. that's like he got corrected by his dad a lot or some shit, like when he was a little kid, and that's transference.
But that's the end of the story.
Who was it?
I gave him a good tip.
Was it a waiter?
He's just a waiter, yeah.
Fuck him.
He's just a measly old waiter.
Yeah. Now, it's funny, we were just talking about how, like, a good judge of someone's character is how well they treat waiters.
Yes.
Because
I have found that, yes.
there is nothing to gain from waiters, you know? Like,
Exactly.
if you treat them well or if you treat them poorly, your life will probably be the same, unless they junk up your food in the back. But,
Right.
most... I can't see many situations doing that. But, like...
Oh, I had to get expensive stuff, I guess.
Yeah. But, yeah, so if you're on a first date or something and the person's being nice to you, but they're rude to the waiter, fucking get out of there.
Yeah.
Dump that person, because they are probably a jerk, or at least a little bit jerky. Or your waiter's a douchebag and they're responding appropriately. I don't know, it probably depends on the situation. What are you asking me for? Fuck you. You're probably a waiter.
Yeah, but that's why I'm always super fucking nice to unless they suck.
It's rare that waiters suck, though. Like, if you're nice to them, like... I don't know. Speaking as someone who was a waiter many times in his life.
There's a there's a waitress at a place that Susie and I really love to go to. Oh, hold on. The Queen's Diary. Oh, the big sale.
I knew big sale.
I need a new cylinder head. I will go out and get the sale.
Carry my ship.
Oh, oof, ooh, that was close. You almost lost your fucking apple.
Oh no!
Damn. Well, she almost died from that apple, dude.
This fucking guy.
It's like the fucking pour some sugar on me, dog.
Yeah. Oh my god, the best.
Oh, he's still asleep. He doesn't give a shit.
An elephant fell on his face.
And a bus.
Wow. Yeah. Bus too.
Don't be bussist.
You're right.
All right.
You guys bussist? Hashtag bussist. It becomes like the fucking highest trending hashtag and like just gets really intense online.
So there was this woman, she was a waitress at a place that Susie and I love to go to.
Okay.
And she was like she just didn't, I don't know, she's having a bad day or something, but she was just so like, ugh, like eye-rolly, kind of.
Right.
And we just called her the evil spirit. The end. There's no fucking point. There's no. That's the story.
I'm sorry.
We just had a bad waitress.
Okay.
And it was funny to us, and we laughed, and we went home, and it was funny, and we probably had a better time because we had a shitty waitress.
Yeah.
Just because it was so funny to us.
Gave you something to talk about.
Because if we had a great waitress, I just want to be like, oh, that's good food anyway. What's up? Because my life is boring, and I have nothing to talk about.
Remember that song? You remember the band Live?
Yeah.
I alone damned you. Yeah. Remember the song Waitress?
No.
I don't know if it's called Waitress or Change. I don't know, but it's something like, come on, baby, leave some change behind. The waitress was a bitch, but I don't care. She brought her food out on time. Wore a funky braid in her hair. Come on, baby, leave some change behind. She was a bitch, but good enough. Leave some change. Everybody's good enough for some change. I can't believe I remember the lyrics to that.
Wow, dude, was that like an album-only song?
It must have been.
Because I don't remember hearing that.
The girl's got a family. Like, yeah, it's from fucking Throwing Copper or one of those albums.
Because I was way into like listening to alternative rock when it was like new.
Yeah.
So I knew all the stuff that was on the radio.
Oh, dude, you know what I watched and was really fucking amazing and intense?
What's that?
Montage of Heck.
My penis coming out? What?
Well, equally intense. It's the like one quote unquote official like Kurt Cobain biography.
Oh yes.
Movie. It has
the one that's not about his death being a conspiracy.
Right.
The only one.
The one that's just about his life.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly fucking powerful and awesome.
Wow.
I would strongly recommend anyone watch it who was a fan of that band.
What did you like about it?
It was just beautifully done, and it like was very, very honest, and like it's interviews from his mom and his sister and Chris Novoselic from the band, who was his best friend, and like
Did it have Dave Grohl?
No, it actually didn't have Dave Grohl. And I wondered why, and I saw an interview with the director, and he was saying, like, Dave Grohl is the most famous drummer from Nirvana, but he came in, like, right at the end. He came in for, like, the last 3 years, you know?
Oh.
And I wanted this... He was like, every time you bring in somebody to talk about a subject like this, you dilute the overall thing. So I'm sure some people were pissed that Dave Grohl wasn't in it, but he was like, it's really, I just wanted to have like his wife, his sister, his best friend, like that kind of thing. It was just really, really powerful. And Kurt Cobain, like, I don't know. We experience a lot, not that we're fucking nearly as big as Nirvana or anything like that, but like we experience it a lot where, you know, people feel they know us, although, you know, we've never met them in anything. But like it's not a big deal. We don't mind it. Like, but it's fascinating to watch it from the other side, because I really did feel like I knew him, you know, especially when I was like 12 or 13. And like when he died, it felt like I lost a family member. I'd never felt grief like that.
Yeah, well, because it's somebody you connect with
deeply,
and they put so much of themselves in their work.
Exactly.
Fucking, how am I forgetting? Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam.
Yep.
He was talking about that in 20, the documentary about Pearl Jam.
Right.
He was like, yeah, people people felt very close to me as fans because I put so much of myself out there in my lyrics. So, like it started to get like creepy. Like people would start being creepy around me.
Right. Meanwhile, you just want to be treated like a normal human being.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a thing, and I used to think this when I was a fan of stuff. I was like, if I ever meet them, I'm going to go out of my way to show them that I am the #1 fan. And like the more the more effusive in my praise I am, the more they'll appreciate it.
Right.
The more I'll be like, you are a fucking god and I love you, you know? Like, when meanwhile, like now that I'm living it to a degree from the other side, it's like, I'd much rather people just be like, hey man, I really appreciate what you do. Like, that's all you need. Like, that means more actually. Because then it's easy to feel undeserving of like the you are God stuff because you are undeserving.
Yeah.
We are not gods, you know, like all that kind of shit. But to see Kurt Cobain deal with that on a personal level in that movie when he was 10 years younger than I am now, you know, B 500 times more famous, you know, and dealing with that more heavily, and C more of an introverted guy than I am, you know, like more the type of person that has difficulty dealing with that shit. It just it painted a very empathic picture, and like, I don't know, I really loved it. I really loved that movie, and it made me respect him even more, which I did not think was possible.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to check it out.
It's intense. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a happy movie.
It is interesting to talk about fame to me because it's something that I feel like I can talk about with like a select group of people,
right?
But isn't necessarily a topic that is like relatable or interesting to people who aren't experiencing it.
Well,
in some degree, right?
because people who don't. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like people who haven't experienced fame to any degree, generally the feeling out there is it's something you want.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's awesome. Yeah, it's like it makes your life so much better in every way. And it certainly does in some respects, but it makes your life a lot worse in other ways.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to talk about it without sounding like you're complaining about something that you should be purely enjoying.
Right, because there's from the outside, the picture that's painted is,
right,
like you said, is something that's awesome. But it's funny because I feel like there's enough out there now that says like, no, don't. There's a lot of famous quotes from actors and stuff that's like, stuff like, you know, if you want to get into being a celebrity to be a celebrity, then you're crazy or something, like, you know, like stuff like that.
Yeah, and yet, you know, it's, if you ask a ton of kids like what they want to be when they grow up, many of them will say famous.
Yeah.
Because
they want attention or love.
Yeah, you want love.
They're not
and
getting
like,
in their life.
Yep, and you want to be validated, and like, you want your existence to matter, which is very understandable. And like, there's this book called The War of Art. Have you ever heard about it?
The War of Art.
Yeah, not the art of war, the War of Art. It's pretty clever.
Okay.
But like, it talks a lot about that kind of thing and the difficulties of the challenges of leading an artistic life and all that. And one of the things it talks about is how, you know, the human mind works in hierarchies, you know? Like, in high school, you know exactly where you stand, you know? Yeah, the jocks know that they're jocks, the cheerleaders know that they're cheerleaders, the nerds know that they're nerds. You know, everyone has a role to play, everyone fits into a category, for the most part. And even the ones who don't fit into a category are in the nonconformist category,
right.
You know? But hierarchies only work in small groups. Like, the human mind, according to this book, is only has the ability to, like, keep track of tribes between, like, let's say, like 500 and 8,000, something like that. And once, like, you go beyond that, the system breaks down, which is why, like, a lot of kids, when they go to college and suddenly they're at a university of 30,000 people, they feel anonymous and lost. Because they're like, where do I even fit in? Like, I'd rather be a fucking nerd loser, you know, because at least then I knew what I was. Now I'm just kind of floating.
Right.
And his argument in the book is that because the world has shrunk because of the internet, and now like high school is like a global thing, and like Justin Bieber and Britney Spears, like those are the popular kids, you know? But like there's only so many slots for being popular, you know? And so that's why people, or his argument is that's why people want to be famous, or that's at least part of the reason, because they want to have a role, you know? They want to have a place that they know, like, look at me, I exist and I matter to some degree. And that's also why when people are around someone famous, quote unquote, they just like freak out because they're like, oh my God, this person matters so much more because they're, you know, they've been validated. I know who they are and what their role is. But meanwhile, we don't fucking know anything. We're just dudes.
Yeah, agreed. That's sort of why, in part of discovering a little bit about myself, is just like why I don't go on social media as much.
Yeah,
because you see a sea of people, and you want to relate to all of them and be a part of all of their lives, and you can't.
You can't.
It's impossible.
You can't. Even if you gave 10 seconds to every individual person who asked for your time, like you would have zero time for yourself, which is, you know, you've got to live your life through yourself.
So, on that note...
Oh, shit. We got deep. Sorry about that.
Next time on GameGrumps.
Yeah, next time on GameGrumps.
Katamari, but we always get deep on Katamari. I don't know what it is.
It's just a very...
We talked about getting naked and showing each other dicks.
Right. It's just a very zen game. It just,
yeah,
takes your mind different places.
They should put Katamari in, like psych offices.
Yeah, they really should. Like, before a therapy session. Roll some shit up. Roll it up, bitch.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Roll it up like a big old doobie, am I right?
God, you need to do drugs, Aaron. Just once, so you won't sound like that when you talk about them.